Good afternoon. This is Bob O'Leary, and I've been asked to give you a few more detailed pointers on arm adjustment. The first part that I would like to talk to you about would be the flip-up arm feature as far as tension. As you can see, on the back of the arm, there's a pillow block assembly that covers up the pillow, and this plastic cover is there for safety purposes so someone doesn't put their fingers into the assembly. To remove this, I'm going to show you something. Right here, there's a plastic tab, and right there, there's a plastic tab, and they sit in holes here, and that holds the overall guard in place. So to remove it, take one hand here, the other hand here, and actually push out, and the plastic cover comes right off. To adjust your arm tension, take a 6mm Allen wrench, put it into the Allen head like so, and then tighten it up. If you turn clockwise, you will increase the tension, making the arm ability to flip up more difficult. If you loosen the arm in the counterclockwise, the arm will flip up and down very easy. This bolt will come set standard from the factory with a certain amount of tension on it. Technically, you should not have to adjust this bolt unless your patient wants to have this customized to meet their needs. Before I get into the details on how to perform arm height adjustment, I would like to point out that we offer set to spec in 1-inch increments. So that means if you measure your patient for a 10-inch arm height, we can give you 10 inches or 11 inches or 12 inches. And the idea here is that within 1-inch increments, you will get your arms a whole lot closer to the patient needs, and thereby when I show you this video, you don't have to do these gross adjustments. You could just sit down and be very, very close and then only do a fine adjustment to tweak it to the patient need. After receiving some feedback from the first video, I've been asked to give a more detailed explanation of how to properly do arm height adjustment. In the first video, I actually mentioned that these two bolts here on the pillow block and the two bolts here on the turnbuckle needed to be loosened to do arm height adjustment. That is in fact true. However, to do arm height adjustment, I'm going to first work in the pillow block assembly first, then I will move to the turnbuckle assembly second and show you how to do arm height adjustment. So, to do arm height adjustment, as I stated earlier, you need a 13mm box wrench, and you need to loosen up the bolts. So first the top bolts right here. And I should note that these bolts go into a T-nut assembly that's knurled. The T-nut is actually got little teeth on it to help grab into this track, which help hold the arm in place. So when you're loosening this bolt, as you notice, I didn't just turn it once or twice. I actually loosened it fairly substantially so that the arm will in fact go up and down fairly easy. Now, if I want to lower the arm at this point, now that the pillow block is loose, I'm going to just push down on the arm, and I've lowered the arm down. Please note how the arm started to twist down. If I want to raise the arm, put your hand right here on the pillow block and on the turnbuckle, and then grab the arm here and then raise the arm up to where you want it to be. And as you can see here, the pillow block has been raised from its initial position, but also notice that the arm is in the upward position. So back to where I was in the video, where this was in the downward position. So this is where I set the bolt to be, and at this point now I'm going to re-tighten the bolts. Having just tightened the upper bolts on the shoulder assembly, I've lowered the pillow block assembly, tightened them up, and as you can see, the arm is now tilted in the downward direction. Now comes time as I need to readjust the arm back to level. In order to do that, take your 13mm box wrench and loosen the bolt here and loosen the bolt here. First, we are going to loosen the top bolt assembly. So now that I've loosened that up, spin the nut down on the turnbuckle a bit. Let's loosen this one up now, and spin this one up on the pillow block assembly. You can see now that because I've loosened these two bolts, as I move the arm to near level, the bolt is actually turning, and you can see how that when I run this bolt into this turnbuckle assembly, I will be able to re-loosen the arm. Now that we've loosened up the bolts on the turnbuckle, and before I use the 6mm Allen key on the head of the bolt, I want to take and recline the back roughly 5 to 10 degrees to make access to this Allen head key a little bit easier. As you can see, I have my 6mm Allen wrench on the head of the key, and I'm turning the bolt, adjusting the arm to level. Having completed tightening this bolt assembly, I'm now going to run the back to the vertical position to check the alignment of the arm. As you can see, looking, I guess pretty close to getting this arm back to level. So now that I have this arm back to level where I want it to be, now I need to tighten these two jam nuts again. So first, spin the jam nut down to the bottom of the arm assembly. Spin this jam nut to the top of the turnbuckle here. Take your 13mm box wrench, put it back on the jam nut, snug it up, come over here, put on the bottom jam nut and tighten it here. And now you have done arm height adjustment.